Doing some hang cleans today. Before I started the Haas Project 2.0, I told myself I was only going to do powers, but today I feel like doing some real full hang cleans. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. After this, I got some bench press, top set of 5, followed by a giant set, some pin squats, and some Nordic hamstring curls. I'm excited to do these hang cleans. I haven't done a full clean in, I think, since before Christmas, so it's gonna be good to see where I'm at, just what my skill level is at right now, and how quickly I can pull myself and drop under the bar, get into a good catch position. So it'll be a good challenge. I'm not expecting myself to go very heavy. I'm just gonna hit triples. If I can work up to a few good sets at like 130 or 140 and the bar moves well, I'll be pretty happy with that, because I definitely feel now that like I have gained some weight, I've put on some mass. I've really focused on lifting heavy, lifting with high intent, my diet to really build some muscle, and I'm up a few pounds. So I definitely feel it is hindering me on the basketball court. I'm not jumping as high, I'm not running as fast, I'm not cutting as well, but which is totally fine. I said I'm willing to sacrifice some of that stuff for this little experiment that I'm putting myself through. So, but it'll be good to see where I'm at with the Olympic lifts, and then, yeah, once I finish the Haas Project 2.0, I'll probably cut down again. And because then the summer's going to come, snow's going to melt, I can go out and sprint a lot more conveniently. I can lift outside when that happens, so I can do more snatches, more jerks. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm really happy with my progress so far. Let's get into the lift. "110 kilos felt really smooth, so I'm going to go to 120 here. Hopefully this feels good too. So I don't know if you guys saw the YouTube video I put on just before this YouTube video. It was about, do you need to look the part if you're going to be a strength and conditioning coach or a fitness coach? So I put a poll up on Instagram. I'm sure some of you guys saw it. It's kind of wild to me, the people who say no, and like, I'm not going to make a bunch of disclaimers and talk about like each individual exception to the rule for whether or not you should look the part if you're a strength coach. But it's crazy the amount of like caricatures or like the misrepresentation of what I say in the comments. Most people don't do it. Most people take it with grace. Most people are reasonable people with their opinion on the topic. But some guy put in the comments said something like, I love how the no excuses thing comes up until you have a kid, you're working 16-hour days, you have all this other stuff going on in your life. Something like that. It's like, dude, you obviously don't know my opinion and like how empathetic I am towards people who have a lot of shit going on in their lives, or it makes it hard for them to find time to train. Like, this guy has no idea what my opinion is, and my post wasn't about no excuses. It wasn't like that. It was just like, if you're working in the fitness industry, you should look the part on some level. And I'm not, the amount of people who think who will put this qualifying statement prior to their opinion, like they'll say like, well, I don't expect you to look like you're competing in bodybuilding. It's like, no shit. Like, nobody, you don't have to make these qualifying statements for your opinion to be valid. Like, yes, you should look the part if you're working in the fitness industry. I never said you should look like you're competing in bodybuilding. I never said you should have a 12% body fat like, I never said anything like that. And so I'm not going to make these disclaimers. I'm not going to make these qualifying statements for just like basic opinions that I have. And yeah, I don't know, just some more thoughts on that. If you have something to say it with conviction, and don't try to shield yourself by saying like all these disclaimers like, well, you should look the part. However, I'm not saying that you should look like a competitive bodybuilder, because I didn't say that. That wasn't the point of my post. And I don't know, I see a lot of people who have opinions, but they kind of want to shield themselves from criticism by like making these qualifying statements to kind of protect themselves a little bit. It's like, dude, if you have an opinion, state the opinion, say it with confidence. Say it with confidence, say it with true conviction. And if people want to disagree with you, that's fine. I don't really care if you disagree with me, but don't misrepresent my position. Don't make my position a caricature so that you can easily build up a straw man and tear it down. It's kind of crazy how that happens. All right, going to 130 here. All right, going to 140. I think I'm moving the bar well. It's going to be the grip that gets me because I'm not hook gripping this. So if I'm going to do 3 reps of a hang clean, it's going to be the grip that gets me, I think. Yeah, it was the grip. That was a really ugly 3rd rep. Not doing, this isn't even high rep Olympic lifting, but not doing like multiple reps of Olympic lifts from the hang or a complex or catching in a full squat. Man, you really do lose touch with how tiring and how fatiguing it can be. Because I have not felt this way in a really long time. Because all my other Olympic lifts has just been like power cleans off the blocks. The amount of work you're doing with a hang clean, catching in a full squat compared to like a power clean off a block where you can drop it onto the block, reset your grip, reset your position every time. It's wild. I'm excited to be done with the Haas project too, so I can get back into this stuff again, but I just need to ride it out. I need to put on as much mass, as much lean mass as possible and see what I can really accomplish. Man, it's that 3rd rep that gets ugly. That grip gets fatigued. Speaking of grip, I get asked all the time, how do I train for grip? Is grip important? It's like, yeah, grip is important. The best way to train for grip, in my opinion, if you're using heavy enough weights that you can't hold the bar, use straps. Don't work on grip that way. The best way, in my opinion, to work on grip strength is high rep Olympic lifting, is doing high rep, like unilateral strength training, like step ups, lunges with dumbbells where you're not using straps. Something where, geez, I'm out of breath. Something where grip is not the limiting factor, but close to the limiting factor of your execution. That's my opinion, at least. But when I do want to work on grip, I'm not doing like rice bucket stuff. I'm not doing like farmer's carries, anything like that. I'm doing something like high rep Olympic lifts. Not hook gripping the bar, making sure that grip is actually being stressed and being close to being the limiting factor of the exercise. So. This is going to be a good 5 rep right here. I'll stay here for my 5 rep, my top 5. I just realized I was supposed to be doing a pause bench, but that's all right. I'll just keep a normal bench for the rest of this session with my giant set. So how would I adapt training for sports that are on an unstable or variable surface, such as skiing, ice sports, and surfing? Honestly, I wouldn't change it very much because strength training, the purpose of strength training is to strength train. The best way, the most effective way to get stronger is going to be the same way for anybody, regardless of sport. If I'm programming for somebody and they want to get stronger, we're going to all utilize the exact same means, the exact same exercises, the exact same methods. So I wouldn't change a strength training program according to sport in that sense. So I wouldn't even consider the type of surface they're playing likely. Do I ever drink alcohol or do I abstain? Good question. I don't drink any alcohol. I have before, but I don't know the last time I've had alcohol. I'm almost going to be 32 years old in a couple of weeks. I got married when I was 27. I think I had 1 drink when I was on my wedding day. That might be the last time I've had a drink. I have a lot of opinions on alcohol. I actually don't have a lot of opinions on alcohol. I only develop opinions on alcohol when people provide me their opinions on alcohol and why I should drink. It's kind of crazy. Let me start my giant set because I could go on a rant here. Oh, with alcohol, so I don't drink alcohol mainly because I don't think any of it tastes good. I don't think beer tastes good. I don't think mixed drinks taste good. So that's one reason. Like, for example, I've had a Red Bull vodka, but I would much rather just drink a Red Bull than a Red Bull with alcohol with vodka mixed into it because of the taste. It always just tastes bad. So that's one reason why I don't. The other reason is like, I don't want to lose my faculties of reason. I don't want to feel like I'm not with, like, I don't have total control of my thoughts, of my body, of my, like my awareness. People consume food and drink for one of three things, really. People consume food and drink, one, for the nutritional value that they provide, two, because they like the taste, and then three, the third one comes in with alcohol. People consume alcohol because they want to feel a buzz or get drunk or whatever. I can't really think of any other reason why someone would put something into their body. So like, for me, I don't want to get drunk. I don't like that feeling. I don't even like the feeling of being buzzed. I don't like the taste, and it doesn't provide any nutritional value. So that's why I don't drink. So people who don't drink, and you're watching this, you probably can relate to this. Is like, the thing that annoys me about alcohol is that I'm not going around ever trying to convince someone that they shouldn't drink alcohol. Never. It doesn't even cross my mind. People are going to drink. I'm going to leave them alone. I really just wish that was reciprocated back to me. And usually it is. Most people are not going to try to push alcohol on me. But like, every once in a while, someone finds out I don't drink. And then if I'm at some sort of social gathering with them, they're going to mix a drink and they're going to say, hey, Will, can you try this drink? It's like, no. And then they're like, why not? Just try it. Why not? Just try it. Why not? Just try it. It's like, I don't fucking want to. Like, leave me alone. I don't care. I don't care about it. Just leave me alone. And then the other thing about it is like, people think that I'm judging them. Like, those of you who don't drink, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. People assume you're judging them because they're drunk or because they drink alcohol. It's like, the reality is, I'm really not. But now that you bring it up, now I kind of am, because you're just exposing yourself, that you're judging yourself because you're aware that whatever activity you're engaging in, you feel ashamed for. You know that you being drunk is somewhat shameful, and now you're projecting your judgment on yourself onto me. That's all it is. So it's like, and I just don't like sloppy people who are drunk. I don't like the breath people have when they're drinking beer. It's disgusting. It actually makes me want to throw up. Like if someone's drinking a beer next to me and then they turn their head towards me and I can smell it on their breath, it literally brings out a feeling of wanting to throw up. It really does. It's disgusting. So I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought. Like I said, I don't have any opinion on alcohol until other people project their opinions on alcohol onto me. I don't drink because I don't like it. I don't see any value in it. I don't think it provides value to anybody's life. It's like I think it's a really unhealthy coping mechanism when people have trauma or stress in their life. I think it's a really unhealthy coping mechanism. And again, that's not me judging someone for drinking because I don't care. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'll have more thoughts after this next set. Yeah, I've probably had alcohol less than 10 times in my entire life. Never drank in college. I don't party. I never have partied. Like in college, I would always hang out with my group of friends on like a Friday night, and then whenever they would go out to a bar, I would just go home, or find other people that don't drink, and I would hang out with them. But I'm not a party guy. I don't like being around it. I don't like being around other drunk people because then they're just sloppy and they're in your face. I don't go to bars. I'm an introvert, even though I make these YouTube videos. I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm antisocial, but I just don't like being in big crowds. I can easily have conversations with people that I have like a vested interest in, or that we have mutual interests in things with somebody. But other than that, like I can't create small talk, and a lot of events where there's drinking involved, it's just a lot of shallow small talk that I just refuse to engage in. Not like a social butterfly or anything, and so I just stay away from it. Like in college, alcohol always came with someone getting in trouble, so I just always avoided that shit. Yeah, I guess final conclusion is like, I don't necessarily have a principled opposition to alcohol. I just don't like it. But if someone wants me to have a principled opposition to alcohol, I could easily build one and make a case for why you shouldn't drink alcohol. But it really just comes down to, I don't like the taste. It doesn't provide anything for me. I don't want to be outside of my faculties of reason. I want to have control of my thoughts and my body. Doesn't taste good. So moving on to the squats, squatting from pins. Got my belt on. I got a story about this belt. So a couple days ago, I deadlifted. I think it might have been a rep PR. I think it was a rep PR. I hit 675 for a set of 5. That same night, I went and played basketball. I was talking to my friend who plays basketball with me, and I just made the comment in passing. I was like, "Oh, dang, my back is so sore." And he goes, "That's because you deadlift. That's because you lift weights with a belt." And then he proceeded to just like contort this idea in his mind, sounded like a PT who doesn't lift weights before, who's never lifted weights before, trying to like talk about how if you wear a belt when you lift weights, you don't activate your transverse abdominis, therefore you don't learn to activate and use your transverse abdominis when you move, and you learn to move incorrectly, and therefore it's going to place more stress on your lumbar spine when you lift weights, and that's what causes soreness. And I was just like, dude, my lower back is sore because I just deadlifted 675 for a set of 5, not because I use a belt. It was just like mind-blowing to me. And every time I asked him like a question to offer pushback, he would change the goalpost. So it was like, oh, really? A belt teaches you to not use your transverse abdominis when you lift weights? Well, guess what happens if you don't activate your transverse abdominis when you lift weights? You would collapse. So like, it was just like mind-boggling. It was so stupid. But anyways, let's get to this lift. I think that was 6 reps. Absolute grinder. My back is still sore from that deadlift. I'm glad I have my belt because that's really helping me. It's really helping me maintain a rigid spine. Really helping me Valsalva. That was the thing he said. He said you shouldn't Valsalva when you lift heavy weights. It's like, dude, you can't lift heavy weights without Valsalvaing. Insane. He's a Phi Ed teacher, by the way, and the strength coach for the high school. In the team sports setting, have you used things like density sets for your athletes? In the team sports setting, well, I use it with my personal training clients, and I use it with like small group personal training groups, like 2 to 3 kids in here. I'll use density sets. When I was working with athletes on campus, I don't think I ever did. I would go for time for things like plyometrics and sprints, where we would try to accrue as many quality reps with those types of activities. But density sets in the weight room, I don't think I ever did. It just doesn't work well. Like when I worked with a volleyball team, we had 5 racks and like 18 girls. So you had, people are using different weights. So they're taking weight off, putting weight on. It doesn't work well doing a density set with a group like that. But I've done giant sets with something like pendlay rows, with something like pull-ups. I've done giant sets for exercises like that, but I haven't done density sets. Shit was hard today, man. I'm not gonna lie. This program is hard. I gotta be honest with you. It's not a lot of sets, not a lot of exercises, but you do it with intent. This shit is hard. What height do you think is the best height when doing block cleans? Been playing around with it and want to hear your take. I don't think there's a best height, but I would recommend just staying out of like right at knee height, because that's kind of when you're going to start the transition between first pull and the second pull. So if you start there, it's just kind of awkward. So distinctly get below the knee or above the knee. If you're going above the knee, you're going to work on rate of force development a little bit more than below the knee. I don't think it matters. Do I ever do any mobility work specifically to squat deep or for other athletic movements, ankles and hips, etc.? No, but I'm not opposed to mobility work. I just don't do it, probably just because I'm lazy, I guess. There's a lot of like anti-mobility people in strength and conditioning. Like the pendulum is just swung. At one point, the pendulum on mobility swung too far where you're like pro-mobility. I think now this pendulum has kind of swung back to where there's a lot of people who are anti-mobility. The craziest thing to me, this is like the evidence-based people. This is what the evidence-based people will say is like, there's no evidence that stretching does anything for you. It's like what they'll say. The point is stretching doesn't actually elongate the muscle fibers, which is like, that's okay. That's fine. Which is true. But, they'll say instead what stretching does is it allows you to build tolerance through greater ranges of motion. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing. That means stretching works. But sorry, that's just like a side note there. But no, I don't really do any mobility work. I probably should. I don't think squatting deep with a barbell on your back gets you better at getting into those positions actively, because you have a bar on your back that's like crushing you into that position. It's a passive range of motion at that point. So like if you want active range of motion, I think stretching, actively getting into certain positions and holding that position is going to be better for you than just like putting a bar on your back and squatting deep and letting the bar just like staple you to the bottom. There we go. Now that I'm heavier, doing these full Nordics are a lot harder. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for the day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.